shit. I'm sure it's just a sticker, but it's got a varnish over it. Be sure and get my resonator. Good picture of that resonator. We can sit down on this music thing one of these days when you got 2 or 3, 4 hours to fuck around like we're doing now.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can sit there and tell me. Then I can sit there and try to play some things, and you do the words. What I do is I gotta have music first. Okay.
Right.
There's some guys that do the words and then they fit music around those words. With me, there's other famous people who do the music and then the words. That's Wild Bill's hat. Put that hat on your head. Ain't gonna matter. Still be too big with that on there even.
Holy fuck.
Hey, and it's all shrunk up. He was a big son of a bitch, man. He had a head on him like a fucking buffalo. Nuclear sub helped end the Cold War. You gotta leave it off there like that and take pictures of it. Too bad you can't take real close. Well, you can see right here, that was cut in half right there. He made all them pieces. And from this side, and he got in there, look, the jeweler files. Got in there, got in there. That was cut in half up on top too. And you look at it on the inside, looks like it's solid just like how it should. That's craftsmanship there. Want me to pull it out? Yeah. Here.
There, hippie, there's your damn sissy bar.
Here. All these were cut out and slotted. He dropped them on there, forked them. Same thing here. I was with him when he picked all that shit out. He couldn't get in here though. That's the only place he couldn't get. Give super close-ups. This shit. Not where he couldn't get it. That's ugly. These things. All these little places right here like that. Right here. That tab. Dirty as hell. Looks like one piece. All of it looks like one piece exactly. And it ain't even buffed out.
There you go, hippie, there's your damn sissy bar, bro.
Who's hippie?
He's one of my...
People that build top fuel dragsters. Carroll Shelby, he's got a shop over there. He's got a motor room. Looks like Orange County, okay? And it's just for oiling systems, oil pans and systems and pumps and stuff. He's got all this specialized equipment in there. Carroll Shelby used to come up and work with him and pick his brain on that shit. And then Carroll Shelby would go back and use what he was doing and claim he figured it out. He used to go, Carroll Shelby used to take him out to dinner. I know, Shelby's an icon and everybody does that. It's just a little shithole Laramie, Wyoming. You'd be surprised, like Tatro. Tatro was in Hudson, Wyoming, a town of 300 people. You know, I mean, just because it's in the middle of nowhere, don't mean nothing. But fucking so... I thought, I'm going to go talk to him. Now, he could have been, I hate talking bad about the dead, but it was a well-known fact like Wild Bill's a big asshole. Biggest heart in the world, die for you if he loved you. Do anything for you. But he'd be giving you hell, picky. He wouldn't even let me sweep his floor. I borrowed I borrowed a portable car wash thing, pressure washer, from him. We went over there. He says, "Can I borrow that? AJ needs to use it." And he told me, he says, "Before I take this thing back, I wipe it and chamois it all down, show blow. I wax it. You better do it or you're going to get jacked." And he didn't give a fuck. He's a bad motherfucker. He wasn't nobody going to knock the fuck out of that big barrel-chested son of a bitch. He's going to do it his way, or he's going to run you down the road or kick your ass or both. And there's nothing you can do about it, because that's the way it works. And I was real desperate to use this thing. He says, "I'm going to tell you how he's horrible. You think you're picky." At one time, I used to keep that 12 gauge up there on the fucking wall. Somebody didn't put my tool back just correctly. Oh, that was in their face, and they wanted to get ignorant. I'd grab that 12 gauge and shove it down their fucking throat. I was a crazy son of a bitch. Off in left field, I didn't need to be like that. The more insecure you are, you don't know, the more I was like that. The more I started figuring things out, and finally figured out I didn't know shit, right? I mellowed out some. And still can be a picky ass, but fucking nothing like I was. But anyway, so I went over there and I was dreading that. Well, anyway, I was borrowing that power washer. So I borrowed it and I used it. I put it up on blocks. I mean, first of all, it was immaculate when I took it, put it back in the truck. I used it. It might got a little water on it. I sat there and I wiped it all down, chamoised it all down. I got the wax out. I waxed it. Don't leave no white in any cracks or anything. Everything. He didn't miss shit. Perfectionist, nutcase, motherfucker. Got all ready to go. Had Ace help me pick it up. Put it in the truck. We drove back. I drove back over there. Knocked on the door. He come through. I said, "I brought your power washer back." He said, "Okay." He's looking at me, right? I knew what he was going to do. He walked out there. Sat there and looked at it. He goes, "Ace didn't do that." Because Ace is Mr. Pig Boy a lot. He can be the pickiest fucker in the world, which most people don't even realize. I told him one time, "Everything's in a big fucking pile." He goes, "I worry about one pile. The pile in the bank. If the pile in the bank goes down, I lose everything. Fuck it." But he's one of these guys that everything can be everywhere. And he actually,
Those words.
about 70% knows where it's at. Like that big pile out there with my rear end for my van. Over there on the other side down underneath there. He knows exactly where it's at. So he put it there, not thinking. Or before I hit him up for one. So he told me, "Yeah, there's one over there and ain't nothing wrong with it. It can sit there 100 years. We pull it out, it'll be fine." Because the tubes are meant on that when it gets snakes. But anyway, and so we unload it. And we roll it in the shop. And I always carry that red bag, right? We roll it in the shop. We get in the shop. I lifted one corner up. Wiped the outside of the wheels down. Lift the other corner. He's sitting there watching me. He ain't saying nothing. And he's still walking around looking at it. I said, "Man, I appreciate it." I was sucking up to him hard, right? I was scared of this fucker. Spooked of him. I got another story about dropping a piston down one of the cylinders I took over to show him. I thought I got to talk about getting jacked up, and he was right, too. But anyway, I went in there, and I had this out. Like this. And I fucking went in there and I told him, "You're pretty knowledgeable." I told him what I had. He didn't really know shit about Harleys, but he knows what all magnets is and what you just for a Harley. Looks like that, except one set of points and weights are in the bottom. Same thing as a car. But anyway, I told him, "I don't know which one to run, which one's going to be the best for power, starting, gas mileage, whatever." I says, "I got this one, and I think I might have took them all over there to him. The all-mag vents, the single-point circuit breaker, had them all laying there." And he goes like this. I hand it to him, he goes, "Junk. It's Mallory. Ain't nothing but junk. I hate fucking Mallory. Make everything too complicated and shit don't work right. They're junk." And I knew Mallory made stuff for cars and hot rods too. And fucking, and everybody always talked good about it, like Ellen Brock and
Excel.
yeah, all the different fucking good performance stuff. It's all compete, so they got to keep up as good as the other guy. But anyway, I said, really? He goes, yeah. He says, hang on a minute. We got a screwdriver. He took these screws out and pulled the top off. Looked at it like I didn't say anything. Didn't really fucking with it. He goes, well, he says, I can't stand Mallory shit, but this is the best piece of fucking Mallory shit I've ever seen in my life. It's flawless. It's way good. And if you take the top off this, he explained this to me. It was out of my pay grade, over my head. He had the top off, and you look down in there, and you see that little sending unit and all that. And there's a couple of screws, and it's adjustable. It's really strange. It's adjustable. He says, see that? That's for fine tuning it. You drop it in there, and you pull the plug on your motor. You put the line wherever it says in the middle to the back to forward, whatever. I can't remember now. But fucking, and then you make sure you're so many degrees before top dead center. Drop it down in there where it's just on points, where it's just coming up on the cam, just touching it. Tie it down, boom, you're there. But he goes, and same thing with this, I believe. But it had a little screw in there, in this little, I don't know what you call it. It wasn't nothing fancy with springs or anything to fly apart or nothing, but I think what it did was move that little sending unit a little bit like this, or something. It seemed like it had a screw on each side or something. And fucking, he goes, see that? And he started explaining to me, that's how you fine tune this. He says, this here will not do any of that shit, especially that fucking mag. I said, well, I've been running a mag since I was like 18, man. You get a lot more fire with him, all that. He goes, you're full of shit. Everybody's full of shit about that. He goes, you've been to the drag races, right? You see them start the top few dragsters or the big stuff with the big starter motor things. And they got to spin on it and go pop, pop, pop. It takes a lot to get it going, right? And he goes, and then when they get going, they're like, like that, real fucking, ain't no low idling them motherfuckers, right? And just be it a bike or and even, I guess maybe pro stock or whatever, not so much top fuel, maybe alcohol, whatever. But anyway, he goes, I said, yeah. And he opens up this book, and there's a picture of this Hemi. It's like 10, 12,000 horsepower. Got 4 mags on it. You can run 8 cylinders, okay? He goes, see that? He says, that's the only way a mag ever gives you any more electricity, is when you run them at the strip. And they're all fucking tricked out. I said, well, what are you talking about? Would you hear?
Nothing, I'm just checking.
Still working?
Yeah.
But anyway, he goes, do you know why? He says, what do you set the points on that automatic advance? And the manual's going to tell you a little different, but you set any of the points, vertical points set up some fucking 36 to 69, okay? You set them on circuit breakers, not mags, circuit breakers. Set them at 18 to 22 and you're safe. They'll run. And if you want to readjust them, or if the book tells you a little tighter or looser, do whatever. They got personality, so when you tune, you got to tune to the personality. The book will give you your specs, and usually that's good enough all the way around. But sometimes some of them are a little different. They like to run a little tighter, a little looser. The more wider you run them, the hotter the spark, because it takes longer to jump across. So it's actually hotter for some reason, they say. But anyway, he goes, what do you set the mag points at? He asked me about the other ones, because he didn't actually know. He goes, yeah, that sounds about right. He says, what do you set that mag at? It was something like I say, it's been a long time since I've fucking fucked with any of this shit, but I want to say 12 to 14. Way fucking tighter.
Yeah.
He says, the tighter you set those, the less spark you're going to have. You ain't getting no more. You might be getting less spark out of a mag. Hell, I don't know that much about the fucking shit, but he goes, but they're tighter, so you're going to get less spark. A lot less spark. He says, this one here, that's your ultimate one. For starting, spark, gas mileage, performance, and everything. He says, that's the only piece of Mallory equipment I ever seen that I cared for. It's just Roger. He might have been full of shit on that hill. I don't know nothing about it. It's the only Mallory thing I ever run. But fucking, but I was plenty satisfied with it. I was impressed. But I didn't fine tune it. He says, you get it home because, you got to do this. You're Roger, right? And he says, you get it home and then you do this, and you do that, and you ride it and do this, do that, and all that shit. And it's like, he says, they set that at the factory for a general rule of thumb. And I just left it alone. Well, it outrun. How many times did this outrun you? A 93-inch fucking 68 Chevrolet next to a fucking
107
S&S motor. It must have been working pretty good, along with everything else. But anyway, he told me that, and I said, and he goes, watch them start them at the track. They're spinning them over, blah, 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 and then they run fucking real rough and crazy and all that. He says, there's a lot of reasons because of that, but one of them is the mags they're running on the cars or the bikes, they're setting them fucking points way open. He goes, if you set those points where you got the fire everybody thinks you're getting, okay, on that magneto on a motorcycle, you'd never start that motherfucker by kick-starting it. You'd be lucky to start it with an electric start. And I might be wrong, but there was a reason Carroll Shelby was coming to him.
Right.
There was a reason all these other big-time racers would come to him for advice and do this and that. There was a reason he had all that top equipment that he had, okay, and knew how to use it.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. I mean, he wasn't no dummy. And he could have been wrong. Hell, I don't know. But so I haven't run a mag since. Fuck it. If I ain't getting a whole bunch more fire out of it, I'm not kicking my ass off, because I got to where people used to freak out and go, God damn, that's got a mag on it. It starts good for AJ. Well, there's times it didn't, that works.
Right.
But most time people would go, was amazed, because I was running a mag, I was running a mag, and it was starting good. Well, first of all, I mean, you've seen me start them.
Oh, yeah.
And I've taught you how to do it. You kick that motherfucker. And strokers are worse because the piston's traveling further. I would think that'd be worse, but that red bike, most of the time, every now and then, I'd flood it a little bit or whatever and be fucked.
That thing.
If you didn't flood it, and I got to know that bike pretty good.
That fucking red bike, your fishtail bike, almost started out.
This one right here.
Yep. I got a picture of it. Started.
So that's
as easy as that 71.
No, not as easy.
Well, it looked like it.
I made it look like it.
I was gonna say,
but it didn't. It didn't. That's the best starting bike I've ever fucking started in my life.
That 71?
Yes. I've started some that was about the same. I've Mac, those great big ass fuckers like,
that one of mine starts pretty easy.
I used to watch guys. You ever watch them start them by hand? The Kickstarter. And I don't know how that motor. Now that's easy to do if you don't got no compression. Your motor's just wore out. But if you got any kind of compression,
especially with like a 64,
I've seen guys do it with fucking 10-to-1 pistons. And I'll tell you what, you put 10-to-1 pistons, it's like that 71. You started it. I put 10-to-1s in it. You could fucking bring it up on compression, jump on it, and it wouldn't even move.
Not like mine.
I don't know. I've kickstarted, but I can't. No, a lot more than that. A lot more than that.
Well, I'm just saying.
But I've seen guys start them with hand. Some of them, they just lose the compression like a motherfucker. That's kind of wore out. But I've seen guys start them when they had regular good compression, 8-to-1, 8.5-to-1 or 8-to-1. I forget what stock is. FLs are 7-to-1, pound less, too. But so that was the end of that with mags. I have no problem running the stock single point one, the old manual advance one, or the 65 to 69 automatic advance one with the single points in them. They made it, the 64, 60, I don't know if, I think they put them in 63s. 63 and 4 come with dual coils and dual points. Because I remember when I first got that, my first 63, I ended up in Denver, around about those Denver Saints and some other guys down there years ago in the early, mid-70s. It was before 75. I judge everything by that. But I remember I was down there and I was fiddle fucking around trying to set my points, and it had the dual points in it. It had the dual coils. I used to have the mount for the dual coils that mounted up on the side, you know, where your coil bolts up on all of them, like my 68. But this one, and they had two short coils in them, if I remember right. I used to have Ace's old coil mount in there. That shit's worth a lot of money. Somebody's restoring one. But they only put them on there for 2 years, which they're actually single fire, because one set of points runs the front cylinder, one runs the back cylinder. So it's single firing. It ain't opening up and jumping across and both of them fire.
Right.
Which a lot of people swear by single fire. And if you got a coil for each set of points, putting out what, if the same as a normal coil for one set of points, you could kind of say you're breaking the fire in half by the time it gets to the plugs. But if you got two coils and putting out the same as a single coil on each set of points, each one of them plugs is getting twice as much fire. That's the only reason I figured they put them on there. Okay, but to get in there, you know where it is on a hog. You can't really get in there to see and get your feeler gauge. It's a real pain in the ass. But fucking, because I didn't know shit, and that's what it come with. I didn't know the difference. And this guy come walking up. I was trying to set the points. These old scooter tramp knew his shit, you know. I was like early 20, maybe 20, 19, 20, 21, somewhere in there. But anyway, he goes, is that a 63 or 4? He didn't look at the numbers or nothing, right? I was sitting right there. You can see, the top of the circuit breaker. I goes, it's 63 FLH. Always bragging that FLH shit up, I didn't know what it meant or anything else. Other than they all told me, oh yeah, everybody would say, yeah, to get those FLH cams, put them in a FL, which you could. But if I remember right, they said the FLH might have had a little bigger valves, but if not, it definitely had the hotter cam, and it had beefier springs, which they wouldn't float the valves as fast. But because it was for the public too. They said, oh, this one here, it's got a cam in it, heavy springs, and that's a hotter motor, the FLH. It's got a 2 or 3 more horsepower or some fucking thing, right? But anyway, fucking I looked at him and said, how'd you know? He says, you got dual points. They only put them in there 2 years. I think it was 2 years, 63 and 4. Because Ace had them, and he must have took them out. Took the coils off in that mount and that circuit breaker. I don't know whatever happened to that circuit breaker. I don't think I had it. I might have. But fucking, because he had that shit scattered all over when I started, putting it back to stock.
Right.
That seat was so far gone, I didn't want it. I'd give it to Harry. I can't believe how he restored that seat with oil. He didn't tear it off there and nothing.
He just rubbed it down.
It was 2 or 3 years. It took him forever. But I'll tell you what, when he sent me a picture of it, I thought, that ain't the same fucking seat, because you've seen it. And he told me, yeah, the stock seat is a police solo seat. It was a real Harley police solo seat. Wasn't no fucking V-twin shit. But fucking, and I dug it out, and it was all fucking wrinkled up and fucked up, right? And I had it laying around. When Harry come down, it was laying there. I said, here. He says, I can save that. I thought he was full of shit. Don't think Harry's full of shit on Harleys.
I know. I know.
He's like me. He'll take a bunch of junk and he'll turn it into good stuff. I've seen him do it. That's what he liked about it. He says, me and you. He says, I wished I'd have had you when I had my bike collection before I sold it to the Hard Rock Cafe. He says, because he's a parts guy. He can tell you every number, and he can tell you, well, you should just be able to barely read these parts numbers because they didn't cast them good that year for the first 3 days or something. I mean, he knows all this shit. Plus, he's not stupid.
No.
He can make them run. He's made several runs since I know him. That knucklehead a couple
That
pans.
knuckle?
But fucking but he told me, oh, if I'd have had you. He said he had 2 or 3 guys or whatever, and he said he used to give them $20,000-$30,000 a piece. Go out and find them, guys. And they'd go out, hit the papers, hit the barns, the backyards, everything. And they'd find them. And he says, they knew enough, plus he taught them enough, that they knew. And you're looking for the smoking deal, the $20,000 bike for $1,000 or $2,000, you know. But fucking, and nowadays they're buying busted up, wore out, fucked up junk for fortunes. It's amazing. Imagine if I had that fucking 46 sitting here right now. Standard bore cylinders. The motor was brand new. It didn't have no fucking miles on it. Only thing wrong with that fucking knucklehead, that one horn that sticks out the valve cover bolts to, was busted. And Wild Bill sat there and he fought it. That cast is a motherfucker. You got to preheat it, heat it down, do this, do that. That cast, there ain't a lot of people can weld fucking cast. You weld it up, you stop, it starts cooling, pop, crack. It's fucking worse than fucking aluminum. Aluminum's bad enough. Standard bore cylinders, that motherfucker was all stock. All I needed was 1 fender, 2 fenders, the front crash bar, the seat post and the seat. Been bone stock. I don't know what happened to the fenders on it. Old Paulette had it, but I put a 6-inch flat fender on the back and mounted it. Built a little fender brace, bolted some kind of little chopper tip.